In this episode, do you have the case of the Mondays? Well, Coors Light made a case of its own, but because of a typo.
And on the flip side, did you expose your deepest, darkest secrets on TikTok before the ban? We hope not. And how many factor authentication steps do you think it took to transfer social media platforms to the new president? Mike, hit the music. Baby, it's cold outside. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're nice and toasty on this beautiful day, whatever day you may be listening, however you may be listening, wherever you may be listening. Maybe you're in California or Arizona. It's nice and warm. Maybe you're in Louisiana. You're getting snow. Who knows? Hope you're having a great day. Mike, how are you? How are things?
Matt, I really can't stay.
Please do, though.
Oh, for you? Absolutely.
Yes, always for me.
Always for me. Yeah, me too, I guess. All right, I'm doing fantastic. With the exception of trying to bundle up. I was this close to wearing Jenna's comfy on the pod recording. Matt, are you familiar with a comfy outfit?
I don't know what that is, no.
So it literally is a very wooled up sweatshirt, but it's like a blanket almost. Like it has like the textures of a blanket, but inside has these wonderful, like trying to like think of it, not a Sherpa. I'm like,
yeah, like a hug.
No, it's not a snuggie.
Snuggie. Yeah.
What'd you call it?
A hugsy? I don't know.
Hugsy.
I've been trying to like find the right word all day today, and I just can't talk, so I just gave up. So this will be fun.
Looks like you need a hugsy.
I could use one.
I was correct. Sherpa lined interior.
Okay.
I couldn't believe that.
Those things look cool.
Yeah. So was this close? They come with pants now?
That's game changer.
Oh, that is such a game changer. Oh, and you could shop the comfy dream. Make sure to use code FUNNYBUSINESS for 20% off. Comfy, if you're listening.
Yeah, make it happen.
Make it happen. All right, Matt. Well, speaking of products and marketing, we're talking about beer today. Matt, you like beer?
I like beer.
Do you like beer? What kind of beer do you like?
All beers. I don't discriminate. I like light beer. I like sours. I don't like super hoppy beers. I like fruity beers.
Your loss.
Yeah, it's no, but okay. Well, you don't like sours, so
I do like sours on occasion.
On occasion.
Yeah. I don't like them when I'm going full hop,
Yeah. You can't hop from a hop to a sour.
Yeah, I can't hop from a hop to a sour. Like that's totally unless I'm like totally plastered, which like never happens these days.
No, never.
Matt, Coors Light.
I like Coors Light. Mountains of Blue.
The water of alcohol.
Yep.
Have you heard about this campaign that they put together?
No, the only campaign I really ever know of Coors Light, shout out Jeremy Mayfield, is the Cold Train.
Okay.
Yeah, great commercial.
Yeah. So, Matt, Coors Light, an embarrassing typo took place in one of their marketing advertisements.
I feel like we always get like one good typo a year.
So, obviously, they turned lemons into lemonade, or in this case, misspellings into marketing gold. This was reported by Peter Burke of Fox News. They accidentally printed Mountain Cold Refreshment instead of Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Yep. The refreshment can be a tough word to spell. We'll say that.
Yes. So they spelt it REFERSHMENT instead of REFRESHMENT. Yeah, you're right, Matt. It's hard to spell, even when you're talking out loud on a podcast.
It's a word that like you say easy, but you don't spell very often. So when you have to do it, it trips you up.
So Matt, you're thinking to yourself, like, was this like a social media campaign? Was this put on a billboard? Was this on the back of a magazine? Matt, this lit up nice and bright in New York City in Times Square.
Yeah, there might be one or two people that see that ad.
Yeah. Just one or two. Obviously, Coors Light was like, hey, we made a mistake. But instead of them making the mistake, you know what they said? We got a case of the Mondays. And Matt, it transitioned the beer for a limited time to call it Monday's Light instead of Coors Light.
Oh, Monday's Light. Okay, sure, I can see that.
So it comes in a 12 pack. It is, of course, labeled Monday's Light and will hit the store shelves very, very soon. Make sure you're 21 and over to drink.
Yep, got to be 21. Enjoy a nice ice crisp Coors or Monday's Light.
Where do you think this ranks in like marketing mishaps in your experience?
I wouldn't put it up there as like one of the worst of all time. I wouldn't say it's one of the best of all time. I'd say it's somewhere in the middle. Like it's an honest mistake, not one that was like derogatory or that offended anyone. It was just kind of generic spelling mistake. I think if anyone can get away with it, it's a company like Coors Light, a well-known name. People are still going to buy the beer. You can make a funny twist into it. I like that aspect. Yeah, I think it's right in the middle of the road.
Yeah. Have you ever made a typo that cost you, I don't want to say cost you quite a bit or has caused a little bit of embarrassment?
Maybe at work, just like sending something in an email, or like there was probably an instance where like a bunch of people reviewed something, then we went to put it out, and there was like one small typo, and it's not the end of the world, but it's also just makes you, I don't know, it makes you reflect and be like, did I really like review it as good as I should have, kind of deal.
You want to know my favorite? You want to know my favorite misspelling of all time for me at work?
Yeah, give it to me.
Yeah, I believe I've shared this, but once I thought of this, I'm like, yeah. I've done that. It was a promotion for a event at a restaurant, and it was at a barbecue place, a place that specializes in barbecue. But was also neat was they had a lot of taps. So there was a bunch of taps like up at the bar, like you could see it from like left and right, probably, I don't know, 30 feet, 20 feet, just taps. So they called it a tap house. What was horrible of me was either I auto-corrected or I just wasn't paying attention. I called it a trap house instead of a tap house.
Just pull up the trap house.
Yeah, food and fire barbecue trap house. And I was like, oh, man. Well, nobody saw it, thankfully. So
that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. After we recognized it, I was like, oh, it doesn't sound that bad of a place.
No, it sounds like a place I'd like to go to be honest.
So Matt, I also pulled a couple other examples of when brands kind of made a mistake, whether grammatically or a missed, I don't want to say a missed opportunity, but the time where double and triple checking your work did not have enough weight to it. Old Navy, Matt, going to college, get a college degree.
Mm-hmm.
It's something very important for some people. They put on their collegiate T-shirt the phrase "Let's go." But they did not include the apostrophe in "let's go."
Oh, so just let's go. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So what they had to do was they had to pull the merchandise and correct the design, and obviously it incurred additional production costs.
Coming to like Old Navy, though, like they're fine.
Matt, we're hitting the Golden Arches next. We're going to McDonald's.
Mickey D's.
Mickey D's. So Matt, their burgers, the Angus burger at one point. So in Connecticut, it was trying to advertise the Angus burger, but a typo resulted in dropping the G and calling it an anus burger on the sign.
Now that is one that's very unfortunate. That would piss a few people off, maybe. However, still hilarious.
Luckily, they were able to correct the sign, but fortunately, the social media buzz was all a craze.
Yeah, I could see Twitter getting all over that. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the above.
Matt, the Alitalia Airlines. Have you heard of this place or this airline before?
No, not a single time.
Hopefully, I'm correct. I'm correctly pronouncing it. In 2006, the airline mistakenly listed business class flights from Toronto to Cyprus for $39 instead of the intended $3,900.
Oof. Wait, I went from $3,900 to $39.
$39. People are able to buy those tickets for $39.
Yikes! I mean that's one you got to get fired for.
Yeah. So about 2,000 travelers purchased the heavily discounted tickets, and the response to that was they actually honored the price of $39. Which resulted in the loss of over $7 million.
Oh man. Could you imagine being that person made that graphic or just approved it?
Nope.
Oh gosh. And that's another thing that I always think of, like when you get like let go of something for that, how do you then convince your next employer to like look past that? I don't know. That's a weird situation.
You don't put the boss or a coworker on a reference if you're
I
applying for a
guess.
new job.
I guess, yeah.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
That's a fact.
Another travel agency, Banner in 1988. The Yellow Pages. Wow, we're going back, way back to Yellow Pages. Printed an ad for Banner Travel Agency promoting, instead of exotic travel, erotic travel.
Oh, like that, the Star Wars tour that we read about last year.
The Empire Strips Back.
Yep. Interesting. This is just basically like a traveling OnlyFans.
So what happened was it led to a significant loss of clientele, especially among elderly customers. The agency sued the directory publisher for $10 million due to the damaging error.
Wow.
And lastly, Matt, Roswell Honda in New Mexico. It was sent out 30,000 scratch-off tickets, all mistakenly indicating a $1,000 grand prize due to a miscommunication.
Oh, no.
What happened was the potential liability of $30 million in winnings. To mitigate losses, the dealership offered $5 Walmart gift cards instead, costing approximately $150,000.
Imagine going from that prize to a $5 Walmart gift card.
Yeah, one of these was supposed to hold the $1,000 grand prize. The staff at the marketing company misunderstood and sent out $30,000 grand prize tickets instead. So basically, they duplicated all being a $1,000 grand prize to all the lottery tickets instead of one random one out of the 30,000.
Oh, man, it's gotta be sweet to get one of those in the mail, though. Like for that time being, before you know it's fake.
Big turnaround. You ever seen? There's a documentary on Netflix that's about the Pepsi. I don't want to call it the Pepsi lottery, but it's like Pepsi buy me a jet.
No.
Oh yeah. So basically, this guy came up with a very creative way to hack the system to get to the highest tier of like winnings for Pepsi, and it was a jet. And obviously, Pepsi wasn't ready for that, and then it led to a whole bunch of cases. And I don't think he ended up with a jet, but I knew there was quite the dispute in him getting a jet.
That's interesting. I've never heard that before, actually. That's
it's on Netflix.
Could you imagine just being in like a legal battle with a brand like Pepsi over buying a jet?
I would say the scenario wise, like buying a jet, I could see that being very unique, but it's not too uncommon that individuals are working in litigation with big companies like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of jets, have you seen Amalfi Jets on TikTok?
Amalfi Jets, this is Colin.
Yeah. Phone down. Now we have an emergency. That has to be one of the most unenjoyable things to do.
What, schedule people for flights?
Yeah, especially like private flights. Oh man, it looks like hell.
I think some of them are fake, in my opinion.
I think all of them are fake, but they're probably not far off from reality.
Yeah. I think there's a daughter whose dad is like a billionaire, and like she's using daddy's account for that. And Colin was like, well, you just create a separate account and you put the money in. She goes, well, I really don't want to do that. It's like, okay.
Yeah, they're very entertaining. That's for sure.
Yeah, make sure double, triple check your work. And my advice is if you are doing something that involves review, make sure you have more than one person, because it is not entirely your fault, because it all was reviewed by everybody else. So the ship goes down, not just the soldier.
Do it all the time. Also, if you're a Coors Light, just pretty simple ad campaign. Just the mountain emoji, the letter R, the blue box. Mountains are blue. We don't talk enough about the fact that like Coors Light, like the mountains turn blue when they get really cold. How's that? How do they do that?
I mean, it's temperature, and I'm trying to not do funny business science, but it's like a printed material that reacts to temperature.
I love that. It's awesome. It's genius.
I'm looking at the proper terminology. It is a thermochromic printed material.
It's good for them.
Yeah.
More people should do that. Like Ben and Jerry's, like the logo should light up.
Well, when you don't put a lot of flavor, or you don't put a lot of alcohol in the beer, like, yeah, you could spend it on a little more things, like whatever that word was that I just said.
Yeah, it's fine. It still tastes good. Love a good Coors Light every once in a while. All right, we're going to slide on in to the second half of the show with some Say What. My first one. So I mentioned it's a little cold where we are. We got a little snow. People need to properly learn how to clean their cars off when it snows. It's getting a lot worse. Newsflash: you do have to wipe off the top of your car, because if that falls off your car while you're driving, cause an accident, it's on you. You also, if you're in an area where you live with like other people near your cars, you do have to like shovel out your sidewalk, not even sidewalk, but just like around your car. Like you do have to shovel it off a little bit. You can't just clean off your car and then drive over how many inches of snow for the next 2 weeks.
I mean, unless you got a good landscaper or plow to help out with the driveway or the parking lot that you're parked in.
So in my scenario, obviously we're in an apartment, so we're in like a complex. So people just cleaned off their cars, but then in between the cars where you got to step to get in the car is just like piles of snow. So I always take a shovel and shovel that.
Too much work to bring a shovel and a brush, Matt. Come on.
But that just be a decent human being. I don't know how else to put it. Like you're a POS. I don't know.
I will say there are some pretty good brushes and ice scrapers on Amazon that I bought myself and Jenna a set, and like it has moved. It's wonderful. It's got a squeegee. It's got an extender. It's got a big brush. It's got a really nice firm handle. It's awesome.
You do need a good brush. I used to have this one. It was really gigantic, like not styrofoam, but like foam.
I remember.
There's a blue. Yeah, I got rid of it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but you do need a good brush because it does take time. I also, hand up, I was dumb. I went out, clean off my car and Naples as well without a winter hat on. Don't do that. Bad idea. You know, what are you gonna do? But yeah, just clean off your car properly. Don't be an asshole.
I spent a lot of time getting a good brush on my car and Jenna's car, and turned out pretty well.
Yeah, it seems like this year the snow is really like sticking to the cars a lot more. Do you notice that on yours?
This morning when I was driving to work, like it was stuck to the car, but then by lunchtime it all came off. But it's just a matter of the temperature. It's the cold that's creating that than compared to the snow itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the cold is the worst part.
It was really fluffy snow though, so it wasn't that bad to shovel.
It was. We considered going sledding. That idea was shot down real quick.
We got the invite to go sledding with another couple. We're like, we'll have fun later at another time in a different format.
That's a interesting double date to go sledding.
I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Whatever's good.
I like it. You can give yours. No, you can give yours. We go back and forth here.
Oh, man. Every time.
It's okay.
Every time.
It's okay.
All right. Matt was watching the inauguration.
Yep.
And he had to move it inside, which, like, granted, we hate the cold. So inside, it was fine. I noticed something. And Matt, I think, is starting to laugh because I shared it on my Facebook.
No, I actually don't. I'm laughing about something else, but go ahead.
Oh, there was, I believe, a politician.
Oh, now I know.
A politician who was taking photos, personal photos, of the inauguration with a iPad. It is 2025. We need to stop taking pictures with our tablets in public events. It's not only the fact that you are holding up, and it was funny because they cut to the guy a few times. What do you do? You're going to hold on to that thing for the entire ceremony. Our phones are entirely more capable of taking a nice photo than holding up. Some of these things are 14 inches. So imagine you holding a 14-inch iPad or tablet up in the air to take a photo, and this person behind you is like, what a freaking asshole. I saw that and I was like, okay, well, the gentleman was very young at heart, so mine be. But your phone is highly capable of nicer photos. And probably, as a matter of fact, there's probably a zoom lens on a phone that could probably take even crystal clear pictures than you just zooming in with your iPad.
It would have been awesome if they were using like photo booth and just putting like different like filters on it. One of the by far the funniest thing to happen in 2025 already. It's just absurd.
Which was also funny because Tim Cook was at the ceremony as well, CEO of Apple. He was probably like,
I didn't see that. Yeah, you know who still uses that? Just like your grandparents.
Yeah.
Who don't know how to use technology.
Grandparents are politicians of our federal government. Think about that.
Maybe they just got it for a Christmas present and they really wanted to put it to good use.
Could you imagine? Oh, my great grandson got me this for my birth for Christmas.
Yeah, it's a tough look for everyone, to be honest. It's just too funny. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, my last one. Mike, we have made it. Congratulations. Snaps to everybody. Survived the TikTok ban. Made it. Made a whole 15 hours. One thing caught my eye kind of before and after the ban for the 15 hours. Also, the people that was like, that was the longest day of my life. You were asleep for half of it. It was like 6 hours that you were awake without TikTok. Mike, did you see the trend with Family Guy? The Family Guy trend?
Yeah, I did not. Oh well, what's
I
the
did
response?
not care for The Godfather.
I did not care for The Godfather. Before we all die, there's something I want to share. I did not care for The Godfather.
Yeah, so people who, just to catch up, they were using that sound and then basically saying my whole TikTok channel has been a lie because of this, and just outing themselves because they thought it was going to get banned forever. They're now like, oops, just kidding. Like, why would you out yourselves like that? Now, some of them I'm sure were jokes. I think a lot of them are probably real, and now people are commenting under their stuff like, well, this isn't enjoyable to watch anymore. Like, you just ruined the whole bit.
This is what happens when you are just doing TikTok for dances and for money, and you're not media trained into I had a moment of pause where I thought to myself, shit, I should have like downloaded stuff. But then when we talked last week, and this was what, 6 days before the shutdown, shall I say? My theory was I'll F around and find out. And clearly my theory worked. Like this.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to come back at some point. I didn't think 15 hours.
Yeah.
Also, thoughts and prayers to the people that deleted the app. Mike, let me ask you a question. Did deleting TikTok off your phone ever cross your mind?
Nope.
No, me neither.
Because let me tell you, I had an iPod that had Flappy Bird even after it was deleted. Those who had Flappy Bird know best that they should not delete an app if it's taken down.
Yeah. Flappy Bird's the best. I love that game.
Yeah, that's more than 10 years ago it came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, but maybe, I don't know, maybe just not ruin your whole shtick online when, even if you think the app's getting canceled, because there's now people following you on other platforms expecting to see the same videos. Like there was one family or guy that I followed that he had a cool New York accent, and then there was like, yeah, it's fake. I was like, well, I don't care anymore. The one I saw, like these people faked being related to each other. Or no, they faked being in a relationship with each other.
Oh, yeah. I remember I seen something like that.
Yeah, it's like, that's insane.
It all just goes to show strategy is king.
Mm-hmm.
And failing to plan is planning to fail. Unless you want to F around and find out.
And don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Nope, you don't. Speaking of, Matt, you get a segue point for that.
Great.
I'm noticing a little misinformation that's going around lately. Specifically related to social media. I saw, and I have moved almost to a point where I wanted to stitch a TikTok for this purpose. And I thought to myself, as a recovering social media manager, that's too much. But guess what? I have a platform that's called a podcast. Let's get into it. So, one TikTok that came across my For You page was a person by the name of Megan, who is going viral at about 367.8 thousand views. Matt, this also ties into the inauguration as well. Matt, you notice, did you follow the President of the United States on any social media platform?
No.
Okay. So this happened. So people are getting a little freaked out because they followed the last president on, let's just say, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, etc. People are freaking out because they are now seeing that they are now following the new president of the United States, and people are coming out and saying, I didn't follow this account. Let me tell you, you have been following this account. And the way that it has happened, and Matt, this is not the first time it has happened. It has happened since 2016 when the Obama administration transitioned their social media platforms. Because Obama, for those who are keeping tallies of history knowledge, was the first president to have a president of the United States, or POTUS, social media presence online. So the question was, how do we transfer of power, of peaceful transition of power from one president who owns POTUS to the next one? Because POTUS is not owned by the politician, it's owned by the White House. So what happens is when the same transition of power of the nuclear launch codes comes into play, the idea that the social media of POTUS, White House, and FLOTUS, and VP especially, and then second lady, there was a little interesting transition because we had a second gentleman, now we have a second lady, yada, yada. They are transferred to the new administration because that is the peaceful transition of power. It's the same thing as if the former president moves out of the White House, the new president comes in. And then the National Archives and Records Administration sets an archive to the accounts that were from the previous administration. So for this instance, President Biden was president number 46. They now have POTUS 46 archive as the username. And that goes through all of the presidents that had it. Now, when the current president, Donald Trump, leaves office, he will be POTUS 47 archive. But a lot of people are freaking out because they never followed the page. Well, sorry to break it to you, you have, and it's because you're following POTUS. You're not following the person. And out of all the social media platforms, Facebook is the oddest one that actually does the transition cleanly, whereas on Instagram and Twitter or X, you actually had to go follow the new POTUS account because you were still following the archive account of that. So clearing the air, taking the platform to do that. But people who said they've not followed this person, you technically have. You've been following the president of the United States.
Yeah. I have a question.
Go ahead.
There's actually people who didn't know that was how it worked.
Correct.
Wow. So because I would assume it's not like you're following like at the person's name. You're following, like you said, at POTUS.
POTUS.
And that is a role that changes every 4 to 8 years. It's just like the same thing if you would like follow like manager of some baseball team. They're not always the manager of that baseball team. Or like if you follow, for example, like let's say the Tampa Bay Rays, and then they move to Montreal, if that ever happens, it's the same handle. It's different location, different people coming in. Now, I understand not wanting to follow some said person. Sure, correct. That's fine. But yeah, I thought that was common knowledge.
Again, there's a article about the Obama administration when they were talking about, how do we transition this peaceful transition of power, and from the nuclear launch codes to the social media handle of POTUS, like it's seamless. So
1A, 1B.
1A,
1B. Do you think they're in there like first day, like, all right, now type in this is the username, and we're gonna make a new password, just add an exclamation point at the end.
Oh man, this password's too easy to log into. But what if I wanted to put down password as password?
You cannot use the same password that you used the last 8 terms ago.
What if I wanted to do White House 1, 2, 3? Come on! I can't even imagine the security that not only with the password, but probably the authentication and all of that. It's probably nuts.
It's got to be like a 7-factor authentication process.
Yeah, there's probably 7 before you can actually get into the platform.
Yeah. It's like Face ID, thumbprint, password, key code, eye scan. Yeah, piss test.
Yeah. So, but putting it out on the platform that I use the most frequently, which is our podcast. So that's hopefully there's a little bit more education on that.
I hope so. Yeah, that is Say What.
That is Say What. Thanks all so much for watching. And a big thank you to all those listening. You know who you are. You can find all of our good stuff at beacons.ai/funnybusinesspod. Mr. Matthew.
Ish.
What is your advice for the good people of the funny business world?
Well, the holidays are over, and a good thing I like to do during the holiday season. Now, I didn't really have this happen to me this year. But let's say you buy or do a free trial for some free shipping or a free trial to watch like shows on a streaming platform. You got to think you probably did that close to a month ago. So let's cancel any free trials that you set up that you're no longer using to make sure they do not turn into subscriptions so you do not pay for things you don't want. As I'm saying that, I'm considering doing a free trial of YouTube TV, or not YouTube TV, of YouTube for 2 months just to see what it's like with no ads. But yeah, let's cancel those ahead of time so we're not wasting a bunch of money and you don't lose track of it.
I can give you a better deal for free.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I can't mention it on the podcast.
Okay. I'll have my people contact your people.
Okay, but nice advice, man.
Okay, thanks. Why are you whispering?
You're welcome. I just hope that people won't hear me.
What?
What are they selling? All right. Always good. Put a reminder in the calendar, as Jenna always says. Put a reminder in the calendar to make sure you unsubscribe from that free trial.
Do it all the time.
Shout out to the companies that give you a free trial without putting a credit card in.
Yes, that's a great point.
Amen.
Yep.
No credit card required. No CC required.
Yeah, that's the best. It's the best.
Yep. The very best. So, well, thank you all so much for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you all in the next episode.
Stay safe, everyone.